The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Class 9 Introduction to the Poem. In the poem The Road Not Taken, the road symbolizes our life. The poet says that the path that we don't choose in our life is the road not taken. He describes his feelings about the choice that he had left in the past. The path which we have chosen decides our future, our destination. The important message that the poet wants to give is that the choice that we make has an impact on our future, and if we make a wrong choice, we reject it but can't go back on it. So, we must be wise while making choices. Let's move on with the poem and its explanation. The first stanza: two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I couldn't travel both. And be one traveller, long I stood and looked down on as far as I could, to where it bent in the underground. So here the words diverged, separated, and took a different direction. Yellowwood, a forest with decomposing leaves. Undergrowth, dense growth of plants and bushes means the forest. Okay, so its explanation, the first answer's explanation: once the poet was walking down a road and then there was a diversion. There were two different paths and he had to choose one out of them. The poet says that as he was one person, he could travel on one road only. He had to choose one out of these two roads. Yellow wood means a forest with leaves which are wearing out and they have turned yellow in color this season of autumn. It represents a world which is full of people, where people have been living for many years. They represent people who are older than the poet. The poet kept standing there and looked at the path very carefully as far as he could see it. Before taking the path, he wanted to know how it was. Was it suitable for him or no? He was able to see the path till from where it curved, after which it was covered with trees and was hidden. It happens in our life also. When we have choices, we have alternatives, but we have to choose only one out of them. We take time to think about the pros and cons, whether it is suitable for us or not, and only then we take a decision on what path we should choose. Stanza 2. Then took the other just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that the passing dare had won them really about the same. So here fair as good as the one the other one, claim better option, grassy unused, wanted where had not been used. So see the explanation of stanza 2. The poet kept on looking at one path. The poet kept on looking at one path for a long time to check if it is the right path for him or not. And then he decided and started walking on another path because he felt that the both paths paths were equally good. He says just as fair, which means as good as the other one. So he felt that both paths were equally good and started walking on one of them. He adds that maybe he felt that the path was better for him, so he chooses it as it had grass on it, which means that it was unused. Not many people had walked on this path earlier. That's why this path was grassy and wanted wear. And wanted where, see, wanted where means had not been used. Okay, means that it was not walked over by many people. After he walked on the path for some distance, he realized that both the paths had been worn out the same way. Both the paths were similar and worn out. Even in our life, we take any path or option, but all of them have the same benefits, disadvantages, problems, challenges, and we must face them. Remember, even in our life, we take any path or option, but all of them have the same benefits, disadvantages, problems, challenges, and we must face them. We think that we are choosing a better option, but It is not that way. Stanza 3. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. So here the meaning for the word trodden means walked over, walked over. The explanation of stanza 3. The poet says that both the paths were similar. PATHs paths were similar that morning. Both had leaves on them, and no one had stepped on them as they were still green in color. He decided that day he would take one path and keep the other path for another day. Although he knew that one way leads on to another way, he knew that he couldn't go back on the choice that he had made. Similarly, even in our life, once we choose an option, we must keep on moving ahead with that option. And we never get a chance to come back and take the other option that we had left earlier. Now, stanza 4. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by. And that has made all the difference. Sigh, we know meaning for the word sigh, deep breath, hence here in the future. Explanation for stanza 4. The poet says that in the future he will take a deep breath and say that once upon a time he had reached such a point in life that there were two options for him, and he traveled on the road which had been traveled upon by lesser number of people. That decision of his decision decided, sorry, that decision of his is decided his future. Similarly, in future, when you grow up, then you will say that once upon a time, when you were young, you had two options. The choice that you made you. The choice that you made you. What you became of it. This is a very strong message for all the students, that you should be wise and be careful while making choices out of the options that you have in your life, because your future depends on the choice that you make today. Thank you. And here there are few literary devices that are not taken. Rhyme scheme A B A B A A B. I repeat, A B A A B. And symbolism, so you can find two roads which represent two or more choices in our life. Anaphora also here, and repeated at the beginning of lines 2, 3 and 4, so it is an anaphora. And alliteration, we know the repetition of same consonant sound. We can find wanted where W sound is repeating, first for F sound is repeating, though that th the sound is repeating, right? And repetition, ages is repeated, two roads diverged in a wood. This sentence is repeated in stanzas 1 and 4. Okay, so the road not taken. I hope you have enjoyed this. Thank you. Consider subscribing my channel and like, comment, share. Thank you. We'll meet again.